right, Nick. Denver Broncos third round pick tight end Greg Dulcich from UCLA has been making some noise at the Broncos minicamp. What do you have on this one?
Yeah, so Parker Gabriel over at USA Today reports that Greg Dulcich naturally attracts eyeballs on the practice field. The Broncos rookie tight end made his first football appearance of the weekend for Denver's two-day rookie minicamp and impressed at least as much as you can in a no-pads environment where the menu consists of only the NFL's very basics, with a ran, moved, accelerated naturally after the catch. But that was not the only draw. Denver Broncos head coach Nathaniel Hackett said, "Have you seen his hair? I mean, wow, just watching out there, it's flowing in the wind." Obviously, Dulcich's hair and his overall demeanor drew a lot of looks, but really his performance on the field jumped out as well. Offensive coordinator Justin Newton had this to say about him. He said, "He looks like a tight end in the NFL. That's the first impression. He can really run. He's in great shape. You can see that. Even being over here, this is now Coach Hackett, even being over here with some of the blocking drills, you can see that he's definitely a willing blocker. So I think it's kind of that all-purpose guy. I think that's something that's going to be very valuable for us." All right, Mai. So obviously the Denver Broncos traded off Noah Fant, so they had some holes at the tight end position, and Dulcich is making some waves. Obviously humorous with his great head of hair, but really with his performance on the field. What do you think of Dulcich with the Denver Broncos?
I like Dulcich. I think he is a very intriguing player, truly more of a receiving threat than a blocking threat, but he's a commendable blocker. He's just not an exciting blocker, to say the least. He was really productive in 2020. Fell off a little bit in 2021, but you got to see that he had flashes, and that's what you like, especially out of a third round pick kind of guy. But I think all of the comments on his receiving ability are that he is such a natural receiver. They say he could even lose like the 20 pounds and play receiver. He's that good of a receiving threat, which I think that the Broncos should be very happy about. A couple other notes I took is the Broncos, in an article I read, they commented on how detail-oriented Dulcich has been. He's at the small amount of the playbook that they have given him so far to learn. He's taking notes on it. He's reading it. He's ingesting it the best of his ability. He seems very dedicated on the research details, note-taking side of things. But they also say that it seems as his athletic ability transfers to the field very well. So he's getting open on the field against defenders. And like the PFF draft profile of Dulcich says, he is fast enough to test defenders at every level of the field. And I think that goes into the practices as well. And I like this, Nick. I think you will too. A comp for Dulcich is that of Dalton Schultz.
Yeah, Cowboy tight end Dalton Schultz. I'm a big fan of Schultz, obviously. But I kind of look at Dulcich and what Nathaniel Hackett had in Green Bay, and that's Robert Tonyan. That's kind of my comp to him. Tonyan, when you compare the two physically, they're very similar. Tonyan is 6'5", 237. Dulcich is 6'4", 240. So they're similar kind of body types, similar kind of players. Hackett used Tonyan to get 11 touchdowns in 2020. I think he's trying to get more out of Dulcich, or at least similar out of Dulcich coming into this year. And keep in mind here that Parker Gabriel, same post for USA Today, mentioned that Nathaniel Hackett, when he was over at Green Bay, used 12 personnel. So that's fancy lingo for one running back, two tight ends on the field, 29% of the time. That was the second highest usage rate. So expect Dulcich to get a lot of playing time on the field. And there's one other impact that Dulcich will have. The Denver Broncos have committed a lot of cap space to the wide receiver position, mainly Cortland Sutton and Tim Patrick, to the tune of $25 million average per year over the next few years. That's a lot of cap space to tie up in veteran wide receivers. Getting a guy like Dulcich, who as a receiving tight end gives them a cheap receiving option, is extremely valuable when you have that kind of money tied up in a couple guys.
Yeah, and one other thing I want to ask your opinion on, Nick. Russell Wilson is now the quarterback in Denver, okay? But former Seattle Seahawk tight end Eric Tomlinson, who also played for the Ravens, had quite the flow as well. Do you think this is a thing? Do you think Russell Wilson likes his tight ends to have more of a flow, longer locks, or is this just like a coincidence?
Well, so the tight ends I play with in college, they're always an interesting bunch. You know, they always seem to be free spirits and do their own thing, and especially the best ones. I mean, they always seem to be just a little out there. You look at Travis Kelce, you look at George Kittle. Sometimes the best tight ends just are kind of a little different. They do their own thing. And I tell you what, Dulcich with that hair and that overall demeanor that he's got kind of fits that bill to a T. And I think it's a good sign if you're a Denver Broncos fan. Maybe there's a correlation there between the character of the tight end, the interesting character of a tight end, and the quality of his play.